Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello and welcome to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name's Andy, Corporate Commander TFW, and I'm joined this week by the man who's thundering across the stars to save the universe from the mighty mind. Jason searches for his father to unite the root and lead his lightning league over the changing forms of the mighty boss. Wheeled warriors explode into battle. Lightning strikes.
The Wheeled Warriors couldn't make the trip today. They're on strike. Let's just say what it is. They're tired of my shit.
Oh damn! But you have that the magic root. You've got to unite it.
Look, I mean, it used to be Jace, but I bought the whole thing from Jace. So it's Jason and the Wheeled Warriors. They got to do what I say. No one cares what they think.
Damn! Not even the little weird knight thing, which I can't remember what he was called.
I can't remember his name either. I think that might be why he's kind of pissed at me.
Do you remember the toy line for Jason the Wheeled Warriors?
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, I never saw them. I think it was before my time, but I saw them after the fact, and I heard from a lot of people they were really like janky and fragile.
Yeah, I know I can't remember exactly which one it was, but
you had one.
Oh yeah, I had one, if not a couple more. Although, who knows? I still randomly remember like Transformers I had when I was young that I didn't even remember previously.
Oh man. Were they actually Transformers, or were they like sort of Transformers? Like not GoBots either, but like the kind of let's just make a robot that does a thing but isn't a Transformer kind of category.
Yeah. No, I actually got GoBots and Transformers, but actually I might have had more GoBots because I think they were a little bit, maybe a little bit cheaper. But
they definitely were cheaper, yeah.
Yes. I never had an Optimus Prime, which was very irritating to me. Even though twice in my lifetime, one time being like within the last 10 years, I have been at a yard sale and seen a G1 Optimus Prime and not been able to procure it because the first time I was like 6 and didn't have money on me.
Sure.
And I was there with my babysitter and she's like, I'm not buying you a toy. It's like, okay, well, I guess that's out of the question. And then the most recent time, again, was like 10 years ago. And I was at a yard sale and I saw a kid walking around with a tote with a truck in it. And I looked down and it's G1 Optimus Prime. And I'm like, well, I can push the kid over and steal it real quick, but I don't want to burn. I mean, let's face it, I'm going to burn in hell regardless, but I don't want to get there by torturing a child. Let's say it that way.
It's not torturing. It's just like accidentally tripping them over and taking their thing. It's like taking candy from a baby, as they say.
Well, that's quite true. However, maybe his goal in life was also to get a G1 Optimus Prime. So maybe I would have scarred him emotionally, much like I was throughout my entire life.
Well, then, as they say, sir, it is survival of the fittest.
Damn straight.
So you do have a G1 Optimus Prime now, though, or do you not?
No, I mean I didn't even
go
for
the re-release.
Damn. Well, I wasn't. Well, yeah. And at this point, I'm kind of over it. But
okay. Well, I'm surprised. It's just mainly because there's been so many G1 Optimus Prime reissues over the years.
Yeah, and a lot of them came out when I didn't care.
Oh, damn.
But the most recent one that was like $50, I wasn't.
Is that the one without
50...
the trailer?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it did eventually go down on clearance for like, I want to say 30, 35, which I think that's a little more reasonable.
It's still a lot.
Oh, it is still a lot. Of course, by the time I got to the Walmart to procure one, I saw the spot where there were none left. I was like, oh, you, once again, G1 Optimus Prime, you have eluded me, but not forever.
They have to be on like eBay for less than 30 quid or $30, I should say. They have to be. That's
probably
madness. But... $50 for a trailess Optimus Prime.
Oh yeah. Trust me, we we had my store got like an initial stock of like 6 of them, and they went fast. Like they were gone, and then 6 more popped up and sat there for about 6 months.
Yep.
So the people who wanted them got them, and everyone else was like, well, "Why is that $50?"
Yeah, I can't imagine just random kid in store would want that, especially for that much. Especially when the parent goes, "Do you want one of these, or do you want, I don't know, like," points at a video game, because it's like what in America it's like $10 less than a video game, brand new, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it'd be. Or they were looking at the Fortnite toys, Andy. That's what they wanted.
Oh, is that the hot thing this year, is it?
I have no clue.
Oh,
It looks like they buy them sometimes.
you said it with such confidence. I was like, oh, this Jason knows. Jason's on the ball here. You just shooting the shit. You didn't know.
I think everyone listening will find out very soon. I know nothing, so this is
damn
great.
it, Jason. God damn it.
That's right. I wasn't supposed to tell anyone.
we're actually here to talk today about Transformers, which we have been doing a little bit, so that's okay.
We got there.
There is news for the week. Mikey's away. He's doing stuff, dirty things, as he usually does. So Mr. Jason was kind enough to jump in and fill in for him. So thank you, straight off the bat, Mr. Jason, for coming on and talking with me about the news.
Oh, my pleasure.
So we're going to kick off this week with Dr. Wu doing the DW-P50 drones, the cassette drones for Siege Soundwave. So what are these? These are small little... They're their own thing. I don't think they're based on anything. And they're meant to go into your Siege Soundwave or anything that is compatible with the cassettes that fit in there. So I imagine it's most things? Most Soundwaves, right?
I would think so, yeah.
Because I can't recall, because I don't own one, but I assume that the Siege cassettes are similar in scale to the G1 cassettes, but that's just a guess. So we have both of these drones. One is a blue little six-wheeled, like moon Mars rover kind of vehicle, almost like the one from that one episode where it picked up a crystal and exploded.
Right.
It's kind of like that. And the red one is a drone that you could buy at Target or Walmart or something. That's the best way I would describe that. What do you think of these, Jason? Because to me, they look more like something Blaster would have. And I don't know if that's because of the blue and red color scheme, but to me, they don't scream Soundwave.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good point. I would, if you just show me these and say, hey, these will, well, don't say Siege because we don't have a Blaster in Siege yet. Soon,
that's true.
Might happen. But if you said, which cassette would you, or which cassette bot would you expect this to belong to? And I'd be like, oh, that's clearly for Blaster because of the more vibrant, like, there's no purple or, black that you would associate with like the Decepticons or anything like that. But yeah, they look pretty cool, and Dr. Wu does really nice stuff. So this is, and you don't see anyone else in third party trying to add cassettes, really. Well, not to Siege at least, because there are. I know KFC I think has made a couple cassette sets. Overkill and Overkill and whatever the other one is.
They did a Scorponok as well, which they repainted a few times, if I recall, as well, didn't they?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, they did him into Double Punch and Scorponok Beast Wars and G2 and loads of other things.
Right. So yeah, it's nice that they're trying to do this for this. No, my problem, of course, being that I refuse to buy that Siege mold because of the terrible weathering / battle damage / we're all going to make our toys have the same pattern of paint because that won't be noticeable or anything like that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and what little hope I had that Sound Blaster wouldn't have any. Of course, the 35th anniversary Sound Blaster also has the paint in the exact same place as Soundwave. So, unfortunately, I will not be purchasing this because I doubt I'll be getting a Soundwave. I have taken the paint off of some of the other figures that I have, but
how easy was that? Did you find it easy enough to do, or was it more hassle than you wanted?
I mean, it was worth it because the toys look so much better without it.
Yeah,
but I think for Prime and Megatron combined, it took me almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
I know some people said it only took them like 15, 20 minutes. So I don't know if maybe there was different runs of different kinds of paint or something, or maybe I'm just terrible with rubbing alcohol. I don't know. But for Soundwave, it's not really much of an option because a lot of the parts that you would take the paint off, you would also take the actual paint off the toy. So you'd be repainting, which I don't do.
Sure.
So yeah. Cool things for people who have the Soundwave. And if we get a Blaster, actually, if we get a Blaster and there's no battle damage on him, I might pick these up for him, actually, because like we said, they kind of look like Autobot type cassettes.
Well, do you think these would go well with the new Soundwave that's coming out?
Maybe.
Because I'm just saying there's probably a new Soundwave coming out. We'll talk about that in the future. Don't worry.
I mean, hey, if it, they're redoing, well, okay, in the future, obviously there's they're redoing a certain Decepticon in a different alt mode, which doesn't seem to have as much or any battle damage on. So if they do the Soundwave, oh yeah, I'm in. Give me the cassettes, give me Soundwave, I'm there.
Yeah, cool. We don't have as far as I can see here, there's no price, there's no release date. So we've just got some nice pretty pictures of these two. I think also a reason I thought these would go better with blasters is probably because Soundwave's cassettes were always more animals than they were vehicles. Like,
right.
And also Slam Dance. You know, Slam Dance has the exact same colors. One's a tank, one's a plane. Same kind of idea. These just don't combine into a little dancing rain man, whatever he was called. Was he Slam Dance, or was that just one of the cassettes?
I think it was I think it was a combiner function. I'm not too
no, it was a combiner function. I just can't remember what the name of them combined was, because they they each had a separate name, and then they combined together to make, I think, Slam Dance.
That is my understanding of as well. Yes.
Okay. What was the name of them individually?
Well, that's not Slam and Dance, unfortunately. That would make it too easy.
Yeah. Slam and Dance. I'm sure one was Rain something. Rain Dance? Rain Slam? Anyway, never mind. Mr. Jason, do you want to take us on to the next bit of news? The next bit of third-party stuff?
Okay. Sorry. I need to bring a link up here. All right, so continuing third-party, we have a prototype of the TFC Toys Storm Commander STC-01NB. What a fantastic name, guys. Nuclear Blast. And this is the modified Rolling Thunder Optimus Prime. So it's a remold of the existing ST Commander, that one is based on the G.I. Joe Transformers Optimus Prime Rolling Thunder vehicle. And let's see. So the retool basically includes a big nuclear missile, which any retool should have. It has a new head with a removable helmet, more weapons, and several new parts. And boy, does that missile have a very striking resemblance to a certain God Jinrai type shoulder cannon. The big missile will be attached to the shoulder, much like God Jinrai, or in robot mode as a 4-wing jetpack. Boy, they're really getting extravagant with these things.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Yep, no release date or prices or anything, but looks like TFC is doing a kind of a retool of this to get a little more money out of the mold. What do you think about this one, Andy?
I kind of feel bad for the people that kind of went for the first run of this figure, because it seems like more of a 0.5 figure than like, if you already got the original version of this toy, it seems like this is a better version of it. You know, because it's got more accessories. It's probably going to have a similar color scheme. It's got more features to it, a lot more playability. So I would be a little bit disappointed if I got that first one and then was like, oh, this one has all this extra stuff. I did see a cool digibash of this into, what's his name? Double Clouder, and I thought that worked really nicely.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I like the fact that the rocket can turn into a weird double missile turret. It has a little feature where it can turn into a rocket stand as well. There's loads of modularity with this rocket, where it can be the one big rocket on his shoulder. You can have 2 rockets on his shoulder. You can have him with 1 rocket on his forearm and then the wings spread on his back. There seems to be a lot of playability with this. I like his little visor coming down as well, to kind of give him an extra like aiming reticule over his face. I think that's kind of fun. Yeah, I think it's neat. It's fun. Just kind of disappointing at the same time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, looking at this a little closer than I did previously when I saw the story, yeah, you get so much more with this. And when he's in alt mode with that missile on top, that looks badass.
Yeah, that's a big missile.
It really, really is. And like you said, you can have like the dual cannons on his shoulders, the one on his arm while he's got the wings on the back and everything. This is, oh man, I almost think they should have come out with this one first, I think. Because I would have been much more likely to grab this one than the first one, which obviously I didn't get. And And that picture where it highlights all of the new things you get, there's so much there.
There's a huge amount. But I can justify this to you with a repaint and a rename, because I think the name sells it, and then the repaint will make you go, oh yeah, okay. Okay, so call him Nuclear Waste and do him in Toxitron colors.
Oh. That would not be a terrible idea.
No, because he's different. He's similar, but Nuclear Waste, Toxitron. You could kind of work with it. It's still not great, but for a repaint, I could get something out of that instead of just going, oh, just do him black, or let's just do him white. Do something a bit different, and Toxitron's a little bit different from what most people usually do for their Optimus Prime redos.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's someone out there who could come up with something much more obscure that would work even better for this. But I think your idea for Toxitron actually is those colors on this would look really, because even the original, just the one without all this, the colors are nice. Like it looks like a good toy. Yeah. But you add Toxitron into the mix, and I think you're gonna get more people on board. So hey, TFC, talk to our boy Andy here. He knows what he's talking about.
Just steal my idea. That's all they have to do. All they have to do is listen to the show and go, oh, there we go. Boom.
Well, you'll know you have fans then if that happens.
Exactly. I'll appreciate that. I like the idea of that. I hope if this does well, there's not like a 0.5 version of this figure where it comes with like a helicopter pack or something like that.
Yeah,
because then at that point we'll then be going like, so is this toy just a Centurion? Because it's just a Centurion, but with new accessories to make them into different things, which could be an interesting idea.
I'm racking my mind to think what you could do that looks better than that missile, because that missile looks so good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe you give him like AA guns, anti-air guns, or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that would look pretty good too. Or here you go, put the AA guns on top of the missile, then you got the whole package right there.
Just add stuff to the missile. It's not onto Prime anymore. It's just put stuff on the missile. Add another missile to the missile.
The missile at some point will just have its own toy. Like,
there you
buy
go.
the missile.
I like the idea of that. Shall we move on to the next bit of news? Unless you've got anything else to say about Missile Lad.
No, I think that's it for our third-party stuff. So do you want to tell us about some C-Cons?
Sure, I'm going to combine these next two stories because, they're very similar. They both include the C-Cons. So we'll start off with the reveal of the C-Cons Wave 3. I'd put Wave 3 in massive quotations, but it's the third release of the C-Cons, and I think the last? No, yes? Yeah, it's the last of them, isn't it? Because we had Snaptrap, we had the fish that came with him, Scalar, we had Sea-Wing, and oh god, this is hard. What are the C-Con names? Sea-Wing and the lobster dude. We'll call him Pinchy for short. And now this one, which is the last set, which is Overbite and Tentakill. And so we've got the images of them. We see them in the robot mode. We see them in the fishy fishes mode. I guess the time, Jason, is can you guess which Terracon is whom? Like, I think Overbite looks like he's from Blot. His arms are definitely from Blot. Is his torso from Blot? And legs? I think they are.
Yeah, because I know Blot actually is the basis for a few of these. So he's a good guess.
Yeah. I could be wrong. I was hoping you'd know, Jason. And as you said earlier, you don't know anything. This is bad.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Oh, boy.
God damn.
Yeah, I've got... My Abominus is behind me, so I can't quite see, like, based on the Terracons or anything like that. But
yeah,
and I know I'm trying to think. Yeah, I definitely see Blot with Overbite, and Tentakill, is he?
I don't know. I can't tell with Tentakill. Tentacill's a bit of a mystery, at least to me.
It's obvious that he's based on Combiner Wars, manufacturing, because that's now that we're into Siege and those toys are a little more, I guess you could say, dense or beefy, you can definitely tell when you have like what used to be either a jet from Combiner Wars or something like that. So I don't know how much longer these toys will be good before they start to look their age, because we had them
I
in
see what you're
Combiner.
saying.
We had Combiner Wars Engineering, obviously in Combiner Wars. Then we brought it back for Power of the Primes. So eventually, it's going to start. This might be the last time they can really pull this with these figures, just because of how they're looking now.
Sure. I don't know if Tentacles its own unique figure because the legs I'm sure are unique because I haven't seen any legs on any of the Terracons that look like that. The torso doesn't remind me of anyone either, and obviously it's got all the tentacle like squid weird face on its back. So this might be a new mold, or
Well,
mostly new mold.
he might actually. Is he based on Cutthroat? Maybe.
The bird?
Of,
I don't think
yeah,
so.
because of all the back kibble. Because I know one of them is that. I'm pretty sure one of them is Cutthroat.
Sea Wing, I think, is the manta ray one. I think that one's the one based off of Cutthroat.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah, you'd probably be right with that.
Yeah, because there's 5 Terracons to base them off, and then there's one that they'd either double up on or make a new one. Maybe Tentacle's the new one.
Right.
Just a guess. I'm not sure. I don't have any of those figures, so I couldn't tell you there. But how do you think... let's say... We'll start with Overbite. How do you think Overbite's turned out as the weird legged shark, which is totally a thing that happens in reality and nature?
Well, I'm always down for sharks, so that's a good thing. That's a good way to start in the first place.
Okay.
His color scheme is kind of perfect. I love that. His teal and his purple. That's really, really nice. When I say that maybe the Combiner Wars base molds are showing their age, it's not they don't look good. It's just as Siege continues and we get into Earthbound here in a little bit, like the figures are looking better and better each wave. So these are going to start to show their age a little bit. But as far as being the basis for toys, they still absolutely 100% work. So I don't have any problem with that there.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, you know what? I bet you Overbite is actually Ripper Snapper.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, because Ripper Snapper definitely had the shark head on the back of his in his backpack and stuff. So I can guarantee you that's Ripper Snapper there.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, this is the problem with not owning the toys. I think you're right. I think the hands are Ripper Snappers as well, aren't they?
Oh, yes, with the claws.
Yeah. Not Blots. That was wrong.
No,
I think
not
Blot's arms have been used with the previous one. I can't remember who off the top of my head.
Right.
What do you think of... Oh, sorry.
I mean, Tentakill could be Blot because Blot has a lot of stuff on his back.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I think Tentacle's its own thing. Someone's going to have to tell us. Tell me, at least. What do you think of Tentakill, then? How do you think the weird squid things turned out with its really bizarre face?
Well, I mean, the really bizarre face kind of sells the whole thing, really.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Like, it's just, not only am I this, I'm an evil seafaring creature that doesn't really exist. I don't like the color scheme quite as much, but I like how, or at least as it's coming off in the pictures, how the white kind of has like a little bit of a pinkish hue to it. That's a nice touch for it. And he does have some luscious lips, so he's got that going for him too.
It's true, yeah. Did you see the comic as well during the week?
Yeah, I saw that popped up too.
Yeah, did you see that they showed off Scylla, I think she's called, the repaint of Tentakill for the God Neptune set?
Oh, hitting a God Neptune, are we?
Yeah, it seemed like I think in that comic they were suggesting that whatever God Neptune's crew is were refitting themselves for these bodies, so it's looking likely, and it's an easy new figure, just repaint them all white and green for the most part.
Yep.
Now all we need, I suppose, is a shot of them all combined together in color, which we haven't had yet. We do see them in fishy arm modes and fishy foot modes and fishy gun modes, which is always a weird thing, the gun mode. I will say for me, Tentakill is for the most part pretty good. I do have an issue with, you can see the robot torso right at the bottom of the Tentakill, robot mode. Fish mode. But I do like it has little hands in that mode. They're little padded claws. I would always take the guns off the top of its head because I think that doesn't look great personally. But no, for the most part, I think these have turned out again very nicely, very well. I'm sure Mikey would once again repeat that he would prefer to see these in God Neptune colors. I agree. I think that'd be interesting to see, but time will, surely show those guys off. The other bit of news connected with this is Generation Select Seacons now a Plus exclusive? Question mark. According to the information provided. I don't know who provided said information, but information provided to TFW from someone, Hasbro has opted to make the figures plus exclusives for an as yet indeterminate period of time. So who knows what that means exactly? Whether I don't know whether that means they're up now or not.
Oh, they wouldn't be up now, no.
No, I didn't think so. But if you're wanting to get these and you're chomping at the bits to get them first, then Hasbro Plus might be the way to go. Though be wary of prices, I'm sure. I always say that, though. I always say be wary of prices when you go for these things.
Well, that's just smart. You should do that.
Yeah. I don't know where these will be cheaper to get from. If you're American, it's probably cheaper to get them from America.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if you're outside of America, it's a crab's dice, I suppose. Do you order them from America? Do you order them from Japan? I don't know. Jesus.
Right. So it does link to the board. I guess ST Prime was the one who was in contact with Big Bad Toy Store.
Okay.
He actually talked to Kellen, who I talked to when I had to replace my Power Baser when I got him from Big Bad Toy Store because he had some gap issues. So shout out to Kellen at Big Bad Toy Store. Good job with your customer service, sir. But yeah, it's just that they'll be an exclusive for a time being, which is fine. As someone, it sucks if you use Big Bad Toy Store because maybe it's not as easy to use Hasbro Pulse. Pulse for me has been fine so far because I've been using it without any issues. Although they did just have some pretty extensive cancellations of orders for the cassette packs that were coming out because they had some damage from the warehouse, but that's kind of out of their control. Yeah, a couple of RFC peeps had their orders canceled, so that kind of sucked for them.
Oh yeah. Has anything been done with that? Like, are they gonna get them in the future? Is it just too bad your order's cancelled? You've missed out.
Well, it's just canceled for now. As of what they might do in the future, I don't think they've been able to come up with anything yet.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, no, it kind of sucks, no doubt about that.
Yeah, especially since these are like the Dinobot cassettes and secondary market.
Yep.
Even secondary market for those reissues is going to be high, I'm sure. So,
of all the things for that to happen to,
yeah, it can't be like an Optimus Prime or a Bumblebee. It has to be like the super rare cassettes.
Oh yeah.
Ugh, bummer. I hope those guys get it sorted if they can.
Yeah, hopefully.
Jason, do you want to take us over to our first bits of news from New York Comic Con? I guess the big toy drop portion of the year now, or one of the big ones.
Was there a Comic Con over the weekend? I missed it.
There was a small one, just a small one.
Okay.
I hear it's rather more corporate, even more so than San Diego Comic Con, and I hear because it's an even smaller venue, it's way more cramped and crowded. Is that true? Have you been to a New York Comic Con?
I have not, but I know a couple people who do go every year, Diecast and Anthony from TFU.info. And yeah, it can be a kind of cramped quarters there for New York Comic Con, as I understand it.
Because you're relatively close to New York. I say that comparing it to myself, who's 5 hours away by plane. Have you never been tempted to go? Has it always just been wrong time of year, or do you just think, no?
Well, mostly no, because of crowds and things like that.
Oh, okay. I thought that might be the case.
Yeah, like if they want me to go and help like Diecast or something one year, I'd probably consider it because it's not that far. Like you said, I can be there in about 3 hours, I think.
Yeah, it's okay.
Now navigating New York City, not always the most fun, but yeah, hey. All right, so let's see. Okay, so there's a con this weekend. Let's see. Is there any news? Oh yeah, look at that. There's some stories. All right, well let's see what we got here. First things first, Pop Culture Shock G1 Transformer statues. We have statues from Pop Culture Shock, and these are G1 Grimlock in his dinosaur mode and Megatron. Of course, these are the ones that they copy the G1 cartoon, but they definitely have the Transformers Devastation cell shaded look to them. So yeah, we have Grimlock and Megatron, and they both look absolutely lovely. The cell shading always messes with my eyes because, especially looking at Grimlock, if you had told me it was just a piece of paper that they set there and said, "Here's our statue," I'd believe you because it looks completely two-dimensional, even in the pictures where it's kind of turned a little bit. Also, why TFW did you put a blurry picture up of a picture that you just have in better not blurry? Don't do that.
Sometimes they do that.
Yeah, don't put the blurry one up. It's no good.
No.
But yeah, it honestly looks like it would probably blow my mind to see one of these in person because they honestly look like that someone just drew something on a piece of paper and set it there. But it's a statue, and it looks really good. Of course, both these are the follow up to the Optimus Prime ones Optimus Prime one that came out recently, which I don't really think I've even heard anyone if they've gotten it or not for any kind of impressions. But
well, to be fair, I suppose like there aren't a huge amount of Transformers fans, at least that I know, that run out and buy statues as soon as they come out.
Yeah.
It's like more of a niche market than anything else in our fairly niche fandom. But do you know people that buy the statues, do you?
I don't. I was just talking mostly with like reviewers and things like that.
To
be fair, though, my understanding is the statues, I mean, obviously people keep making them, so they're at least semi-successful.
Yeah, I always wonder like how many they need to sell for them to be, successful.
Well, I don't remember the exact details, but when 3A and Ashley Wood separated,
Yes.
I think it was even on TFW, there was a comment about, now no one's really going to buy these statues. And someone from 3A got into the thread, was like, we sell like 10,000, we send tens of thousands of these statues. You need to check your numbers. It's like, oh. Yeah, he pretty much. It was pretty much a comment smackdown, more or less. And again, the numbers might be off, but it was not a small number. They weren't like, we sell a couple hundred of them, we're happy with it. No, they sell thousands of these statues.
I am surprised. I mean, good for them, but I'm shocked, really. But all right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's if you've got the money, especially 3A, they make the stuff they make is just so accurate to the to what you see on the screen and stuff like that. So.
Yep, yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot that those 3A ones for the movies, they look good. I mean, if you like the design, they were hella accurate at the very least.
Right. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised if they've made more money than the later movies did.
Maybe.
Lordy. Yeah. So, which one do you like better, Megatron or Grimlock, or do you want to just hug them both?
Well, me and Mikey talked about the Megatron, and in person it looks better. I like this is not going to be great to say. I like the base more because it's the Bombshell and Soundwave, not Bombshell. It's the Soundwave boss fight floor, if you remember from Devastation, which I think is really nice. I'm like, I like that a lot. I'm still going to go with what me and Mikey said before. The pose for that Megatron and the expression for that Megatron is really lackluster and boring. Both of them. So I think he looks good in person, and it, like you say, it is impressive to get that cell shading, and it works in person, not only in Photoshop art or just promotional art, but in the flesh as well. I think the Grimlock's more successful, though he is considerably smaller than Megatron. And his base isn't as interesting. It's just an Autobot insignia, but with a bit of ground where he's got his foot on. But it feels a bit more expressive than the Megatron. You know, he's got his little mouth open. He's curling his tail. He's got a little hand posing in the claw action. So there's a bit more oomph to it than how Megatron looks, at least from my eyes. And there's also the Rock's calf muscles we can see in most of these shots as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, there's this little bolt bean as well in one of the Megatron pictures. Okay. Yeah, so they're okay. I think Grimlock's more interesting visually than Megatron. That's about it, really.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd hug either of them.
All right, no hugs from Andy.
No hugs from Andy, I'm afraid.
Do you want me to go on to the next story then, since it's another thing we probably aren't all that into?
Sure, yeah, why not?
All right. Let's see. Okay, so we also have the Transformers trading card game War for Cybertron Siege 2. So this is the next bit of their War for Cybertron Siege that they're putting into the card game, and it's called Mercenaries.
Is it not called the Resiegening?
No. Siege 2 Electric Boogaloo. It would have worked
there you go.
much better.
Oh man, if that film was made by Canon, that would be a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it would be. Let's see. So it looks like these will be releasing on November 11th, and these are the newest cards in the Transformers, the trading game, the TCG, if you will. And of course, I say that something we're not. I don't mean to say I'm not interested in it. I had some of the trading card. I had one of the starter packs, and then I realized I would never be able to play with anyone because no one around me would be playing them. So I took them back.
You took them back to the store.
Yeah, I just return them.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, no, it was a starter pack. I thought you meant like you opened the booster packs and you got them, looked at them, and just gave them back to the store and said, "I want my money back," and be like, "You can't do that." The booster packs.
I just threw it at him. These cards suck. Give me my money back.
Damn.
No, it was definitely just the starter packs, and I did not open them either. So
okay, that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah, so let's see. We have we've got cards. Let's see. We've got Mudflap, Octone, not Octane, Octone. We've got Lockdown, Detritus, Deadlock.
Who's Detritus for those that don't know? Because if I heard someone say Detritus, I'd be like, who the fuck's that?
Who is Detritus? I actually don't think.
You know, look at the picture. You know.
I mean, he looks like.
Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah. If you don't know, that's fine. I can tell you.
Well, now I'm not sure where you're taking me. So who is it?
It's the E-Hobby repaint of Hound.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see Hound there. Okay.
Yeah. The
shoulder cannon definitely does something for that.
He also has a bandolier, at least in this image.
That's
so
right.
He's like G2 Sideswipe. Oh
yep.
No.
Yep. Oh boy. Nightbird. All right, so Nightbird looks like it's the last new of the character cards. And then of course you have your cards that you add. I don't know how the game works that much, but I know that you have your characters and then you have your cards to kind of power them up and things like that.
Yeah, that's right.
So you got stuff like Dual Weld and Crude Club, things Coop or a coup. You can have a coup apparently. When a character is KO'd, use a bounty card. Whatever. I don't play the game. There's no one around me to play it with. But a lot of the podcasts I listen to, people play the game. So the game is definitely popular. I think Wizards of the Coast is even surprised with how well it's doing.
Yeah, I know TFW are into it. They are elbow deep into that cow's anus. That's how deep they are.
Exactly. And they also mentioned the fact that the Triptychon set will be coming, which of course will feature Brunt, Full Tilt, and Wipeout.
Yeah, that's not out yet, though, is it? I mean, it will be, clearly, from what you said, but I assumed it had already came out.
Yeah, because we had Metroplex so long ago.
That's right, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's also for the release. Or no, it'll be released on the 8th of November, like the other cards too. So you've got, if you're playing the game, first of all, if you're playing the game, awesome, because you have more time to put into it than I do, which is great, and you actually get to play with people, which is awesome. And there's a lot of new cards coming up if you really are into the game, so that's good for you.
I think people are going to be interested as well with the new Mercenaries faction. I don't really know what that means, because as far as I was aware, that you could mix and match Autobots and Decepticons together. So I imagine just having another Mercenaries faction, unless they're adding new rules to that, is still going to just... I don't know. I don't know if that is going to change the game a huge amount. Maybe, I mean, for people who play the game, I'm probably speaking out my ass and have no idea what I'm talking about, and you'd be right.
Yeah.
But I do like the card art at the very least.
Oh, the card art for these is always, especially when they take from, the recent More Than Meets the Eye or Robots in Disguise series from a few years ago. My God, now it's a few years ago for those. Holy cow.
Yeah, man.
Notice how I didn't say Lost Light. Anyways, moving on. So, Andy, how about I hand the baton back to you and you take us through some more goodies from New York Comic Con?
Sure, yeah, why not? Well, the big thing didn't really happen at New York Comic Con. I guess it happened yesterday, I think it was Unicron. He's coming, boys and girls. They finally got the 8,000. You only had to push the date back once or twice and kill the Cookie Monster to do it, but he's coming out. So Jason's going to be getting his in the not too distant future, right?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Actually, do you know anybody who's getting it from like the Radio Free Cybertron crew or anyone like that?
At least half of them are.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
So Brian Kilby, I know, is getting one. Diecast, our resident Unicron fan, is getting 2 of them.
Whoa! Why? Whoa!
Well,
Whoa.
originally originally it was because he wanted to make sure it got funded, which that turned out not to be a problem
God damn.
as of this most recent Saturday. I think he might also, judging by how Jabba's sail barge did, the secondary market for these can be very nice.
Yes.
So there might be some intent to sell later, or he's also kind of tempted by the idea of having a Unicron as a robot
planet. Oh no.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
I know. I know.
Oh jeez. How much room does he have? Because I know American houses are big, but not that big.
If you ever watch anyone who's ever watched Radio Free Cybertron live and has seen Diecast's room, he has zero room right now. So I don't know where this is going to end up going for him.
Jesus.
I know that we had at least one other cast member who had ordered it, but had to back out of it because they had some major car repairs that popped up.
Bummer.
And there could be one or two more, because not everyone, a couple people didn't. I don't think they wanted to show their hand whether they had it or not. So it'll be interesting to see.
I don't want to speak for that person, but since Diecast is getting another one, maybe you could help him out.
There you go.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying. So this is great. Me and Mikey have both had our issues with the Unicron figure, but it's good that it's coming out so people can get it, because it seems like a thing that people have been fairly excited for. It's still not a thing that I would personally be interested in, but hey, doesn't matter as long as the thing I want the most. What do you think the thing I want the most from a Unicron figure is, Mr. Jason?
What could you possibly want most from the Unicron figure?
What do you think it could be? It's okay if you don't know, of course.
There's so many possibilities.
It's true.
Do you want it to be able to bludgeon small children with, by any chance?
I mean, I might want it to be able to do it, and it's definitely going to have that ability, because if you have this in planet mode and you throw this at a child's head, they're down. I'm not saying they're dead. I'm just saying they're going down. To be fair, though, if you threw this at an adult's head, they're going down.
I want to know that there's a person out there who bought, because you could buy up to 5 or 6. I think 5 was the limit.
Jesus.
Some people are small dealers who might take them to shows and stuff like that, but I want to know the person who bought 5 of them. Yeah, bought 5 of them and takes it to a bowling alley and just rolls it down the lane one time. I want that person to exist. I want this to be a thing that happens once. But what? Okay, so what is the one thing you want from this figure?
I want Jobby to do a video on him.
Oh, see, that was so. I should have. That was just obvious.
It's okay.
It would be a 2-hour video, and it would be the best thing we've ever seen in our entire lives.
I see. I want people to try and video review this, because it's going to be such a fucking pain in the ass to do a video review on it.
Well, apparently, a lot of reviewers are legitimately concerned and are happy that they have over a year to plan for this. Yeah, it's going to be very hard to do. Yeah,
it's I've done videos on big figures, but nothing as big as this. This is ridiculously big, so you're gonna have to have the camera far away or have a wide angle lens, and then you're gonna have to not be behind the camera to manipulate the toy. You're gonna have to be stood next to it and hope that you still got the shot to look right. It's gonna be such a pain. It's gonna be great to see people suffer.
Yeah, honestly, I think the best way to do this is, okay, so if you're a toy reviewer and you're listening to this, hi. It might be time to look into some wide angle lenses for your camera, like Andy was suggesting. That would be a huge help for a figure like this. Granted, a lot of people, I know their backgrounds aren't huge, so you're gonna kind of have to decide whether you're okay with people seeing, behind the curtain, if you will. But I think the best way to shoot this is, set up your regular camera with a wide angle lens. And nowadays, even cheaper cell phones have pretty decent, cameras for video. And just have someone, use the camera to do your up close shots of the transformation and stuff like that. That would probably be a good way to do this. So maybe we'll see some. It'd be nice to see some reviewers maybe get some upgraded equipment just for Unicron. That would be great.
Oh man, that's a lot to ask. Hey, buy this really expensive figure. Oh, also buy new camera stuff. Oh no.
Yeah. I'm sure there's probably plenty of wide angle lenses that are as much, if not more, than Unicron.
Oh god, yeah, certainly. Lenses can get ridiculous. They can get crazy expensive. So, hey, Unicron, he be coming. Will he get repaint? I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
No, that was expressly asked at Comic-Con, and John Warden has said this is it. And there was definitely a look on his face of, I wouldn't want to do a recolor or re-release of this because obviously, okay, so I haven't really gotten to have any hot takes on this yet because I haven't been on Radio Free Cybertron a lot because of work. So, Unicron, according to Jason, we'll go through it here. So John DeLuna on RFC said that when the extension happened, he felt that it was pretty clear that Hasbro expected this to happen because obviously now they've only had 3 projects, but it was because they did it with 3 days left as opposed to like in the last few hours. You could kind of tell that they were a little weary about getting it, and it seemed like they expected it to be a little more successful than it is.
Yeah.
So I would not be surprised if there's been some maybe, and I don't want to, I guess like consternation of like, oh boy, this isn't going quite as easy as we thought. And granted, eventually they got there. But if I'm John Warden and I helped design this thing, I'm like, I don't want to do this again. Even a repaint. Like, I don't want to have to pick colors for this toy again. I want it out in a year, and I want it out in a year and 3 months, and I don't ever want to have to deal with Unicron again. So I get that completely.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing I think, even though if you go to the HasLab site, it says 8,000 plus backers, and it kind of stops there. However, some rather ingenious people have kind of searched through the JavaScript on the website. Right. And yeah, they have actually come up with the fact that it looks like they ended with like over 11,000 pre-orders or orders or backings.
That's a few more than 8,000 at least.
Yeah, so we've had, jumps here and there from what we heard was like retailers and stuff coming in, but it almost seems like maybe some of the major retailers weren't going to be reported until the very end.
Right.
Because yeah, it jumped. That's a 3,000. Well, okay, so it was about 8,520 when they shut down the actual number and just said 8,000 plus. But basically, if you go to the website, it's showing that and there's JavaScript code here that I don't even understand that much, but it does say what is the it does go into the description for the crowdfunding bar, which was the blue bar that was going across the page, and it says 8,000, so that's the number of backers that the bar would go up to. And then it says for progress, there's code here for crowdfunding bar progress, and it's at 140.9875, which is 140, well, basically 141%. So that's where you get the 11,000 figure from the fact that they had to put input in a percentage into the website in order for the bar to show the correct, distance to funding, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like that would be their final number. Now there's also, if you actually go to like the HasLab site, they have a section for funded projects. It's something like that. And it shows that it was funded at 242%. That's probably not right, because that would be 22,000 backers. Which, if they had that many, I don't think they would have been waiting to the last couple days before it was done. So I think that's a little bit of maybe a coding snafu or something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So, and of course, you guys have discussed. I didn't, Mikey isn't here, and I didn't go into any comments. Yeah. I didn't go into any comments, but I may have kind of looked at Reddit a little bit once this was funded.
Okay.
Oh boy. How do you get mad at a company for making something that you don't have to buy? I don't understand that.
Are you going to be my Mikey today?
I am.
Are you gonna tell me about people being salty for no particular reason? Why are people salty then, Jason? Could you glean what the anger was about? Like, did they voice like a rational reason for it, or was it just being angry for the sake of it? Like,
Andy, seriously, do you think there's any rationality behind any of that?
I think in their heads, yes, but I don't think they ever vocalize a reason for it, which is always a problem.
We always perceive things differently in our heads, that's for sure.
That's true. But
basically it was like, screw Hasbro for making such a big toy that it would be hard for people to afford. And also someone argued that, why aren't they just focusing on a Unicron that we could actually buy? To which someone very, very, I appreciate this, someone commented on that. You realize you can get Armada Unicron on eBay, like, no problem, right? It's not that expensive.
'Em.
And of course, then there was a comment. It was like, I'm pretty sure the one comment said something along the lines of, I think I read somewhere from an official post from Hasbro that they'll make this whether it's funded or not. I'm pretty sure it was an official post. I'm just sitting there shaking my head like, no, that's not how funding works.
Isn't it though?
Yeah, really. So it would have been interesting to see how close they would have gotten if they didn't do the extension. Now,
yeah.
Now, to be fair, like the European market, you guys didn't have a chance for it until after the extension, right? Because before that,
I don't think so.
That was just recent that they announced that any European markets would be able to jump in on it.
Right.
So apparently they weren't, and who knows? Maybe the 3,000 extra were from European stuff. I don't think we'll never know that. I don't think they're ever going to reveal that. But
I'm sure it helped. It definitely would have helped open it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that was such a last minute thing kind of tells me that maybe they might have gotten it funded, but having an extra 3,000, I don't think hurts.
Oh no, certainly not. Definitely not. Like I can see why people would be angry, I guess, because they'd like a new Unicron figure, but they can't afford it. So there's that aspect of envy and jealousy, and it's like, yeah, I can understand it. It's maybe not the best thing to focus on because, like you say, you can just get the Armada one if you wanted. But that's how people be sometimes, and it's like, fair enough. What can you do?
Well, I mean, I have to pay bills. I don't have time to be salty on the internet.
I'm not sure if you're being sarcastic or not.
No, I don't have time for this. I have no time for saltiness.
I just imagine you now, Jason, with a bag of salt next to you, and you just like got a spoon and just eat sometimes. Don't have time for this shit, but
I don't care what people say. Salt is good for you.
I love my salty water. I was watching. There was a show I was watching today called Bear Grylls: The Island, where people are like stranded on an island and they've got no supplies and something. And their water supply got salt water in it. And the doctor who was on the island, who was one of the survivors, was like, "Don't drink any of that salt water. We need to find new water, but don't drink any of it, anybody here, because if you do, it'll lead to like dehydration, vomiting, diarrhea, and death." And so everybody went off. Most people went off out of the camp to search for new water. And there's one older lady who was in her like 50s who was like, "Oh, I'm a bit thirsty, I am. So I'll have some of this salty water." And I was like, "Bitch, what are you doing? What are you doing? The doctor said don't do it." She did it. And then she spent the remainder of the episode shitting her pants and throwing up. And I was just sitting there going, "You stupid bitch, the doctor, he's a doctor, said don't do it, you could die." And she's like, well, what's a bit gonna hurt? God damn.
I mean, granted, she didn't die, she just shit a lot.
She vomited a lot. And she kept saying about how she wanted to leave the island. It's like, if you just... The saddest thing was, they'd found fresh water as well. So she did all that for no reason. I was like, you dumb bitch.
That makes it even better. But I heard Bear Grylls, so I just figured he just dove into the salt water and just like drank it underwater or something.
Like Bear Grylls would have set up a way of getting salt water and evaporating the water out, but catching it to turning into pure water and take the salt out of it, because that's how Bear Grylls do. He's ridiculous.
No, see, I think he would have found a way to actually like filter it through his anus or something like that.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
I saw him use a dead seal, which he found up on a rock, and turn it into a swimming vest, like its skin into a swimming vest, so he could go spearfishing in the ocean.
See, I thought you were going to say a swimming pool, because that would have been even more impressive.
Would, like, a seal's not that big, so that'd be like a really, really bad pool. That'd be a tiniest little pool ever.
Or he's just really good at making pools out of dead seals.
That is true. That is a fair point. Like, if the world goes to shit, find Bear Grylls. Find Bear Grylls. He'll keep you alive. He knows what's up. Shall I move us on, though, to more Transformer stuff, Mr. Jason?
Oh, there's more Transformer stuff?
There's even more Transformers stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. I'm going to jump to the last story I gave you, so you can look at that one, because the last two stories are more impressive, and we can go through that a bit more. There was a presentation at the New York Comic Con, the Transformers Sci-Fi, or SIFWI, wire reveal panel. So they revealed a few things, which we'll talk about more in detail, but the reason I'm talking about this specifically is because we got our reveal of the next Titan class figure, which people were amazed by, and I was just like, well, yeah, they're obviously doing this.
Yep.
No one would be surprised. So they showed off Zarak. I say Zarak because it was simply the head. He's a double headmaster. People again were amazed by that, and I was like, yeah, it's neat, but I'm not surprised by it. So what you have is you have the Titan headmaster, which then transforms and goes onto the body. So you can have either look from the show. It seems nice idea, and there's not a huge amount to talk about with the Zarak headmaster. I don't think he's got big shoulders because he's obviously got the side of Scorponok's head just kind of plopped onto his arms, which is fine. Needs to do that. He has knees that could roll forwards because he doesn't have any knee pads. Because obviously, like, his legs will clip together and then he'll just kind of fold like a traditional headmaster would. What do you think, Jason? I mean, I'm from your chuckle, I assume you weren't surprised by the announcement of Scorponok.
No, I mean, I'm sure there's some obscure stuff they could have gone with, but
No, not much.
Scorponok was pretty much the most obvious thing to me, unless they were gonna like unless they were gonna do like the Omega Supreme recolor that everyone wants so badly.
Even then, I don't think they'd tout it out and show like a prototype for it. The only other big thing I could think of that they could do who's a base would be Grandis. Like, that would be a big surprise. No one would see that shit coming. Most people in the audience would be like, what the hell's a Grandis? That's stupid.
Which is exactly why they didn't do that.
Why he's so fat? Why he's so big? Yeah, like Scorponok, and we've got all the big cities. We have all of the only other big thing maybe they do is maybe they do Monstructor.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know what else. I mean, it's fine. I'm not complaining. It's just like, yeah, he was on the voting thing. However many years ago that was that 2 years, 3 years ago when we had that big vote?
2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, so he was on the list, so we knew he was coming. Here he is. He's obviously a long way off any kind of completion if we're just seeing the head in prototype colors. So yay! Probably not going to get a Black Zarak because they don't seem to be in the market for doing repaints of the Titan class figures.
Nope.
Which I get. It's probably the same reason why they don't want to repaint Unicron as well, I would assume.
Yeah.
Do you have any other thoughts? Here's a question. Do you think he will have features which will let him interact with the MicroMaster bases, which we'll talk about, obviously, when we get to it?
I would say yes. I think that what you're seeing throughout this, what they've basically started with Titan's Return, is they're building on what they've done. They're not really subtracting. So I would expect that it's going to be pretty much compatible with everything that's come out in the last, at this point, by the time this comes out, last 3-4 years?
Something like that.
And now that they're focusing so much on the MicroMaster type stuff, I would, and we know that there's bases coming and things like that. Yeah, they're going to lean into that pretty well. And everyone seems to be pretty excited about that, which is good. It seems like they're really, I know not everyone's thrilled on some of the characters they keep doing, but they're doing what makes them money, which is kind of how they keep doing, that's how we keep getting this stuff.
Yep. It's how business works. I don't like it. You don't have to like it, but unfortunately that's business.
Yeah, it really is. So I'll be excited to see this guy in his glorious green and purple colors. I have Trypticon, so I've basically gotten the one bad guy Titan. Well, I guess he can. Okay, so I obviously the only one I wanted to get.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're not getting Omega because he's out soon, relatively soon, or he's out. One of the two.
Well, he got pushed back.
Okay.
I had thought about it, and I think he looks pretty good. He actually, his battle damage looks a little more decent, where it's just kind of like darkening around his ports and things like that.
Yeah.
However, because when I got Trypticon, I got him on a Black Friday deal where he was like, I think he was only $90 or something. So I was happy to do that.
That's not bad. Yeah.
However, and we had one of our discount stores around here, Ollie's, if you've heard of it. They also had Trypticon for $40 eventually.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So my son will be getting a $40 Trypticon for Christmas.
Oh, nice. You got one. Sweet.
Yeah. Good thing he doesn't list this, or else he wouldn't be surprised. And also, I say fuck a lot, so that would not be good. So I'm kind of just in a waiting pattern to see what happens with Omega, because either he's going to be he's going to be cheaper on Black Friday, which I don't know in this case because he's getting released so close to when that happens. Whereas Trypticon was already out by now and was a few months old come Black Friday when he came out. But yeah, I'm just with Titans now. I just kind of wait and see what's going on with them, and I haven't seen any other ones for like a price that's decent recently. So I just kind of sit back and wait and see what happens with those. So if I get him, Scorponok, I might consider getting at I would not pay full price for him, but if I get him at least a slight discount, I might do it just because I wouldn't mind having the 2 Decepticon Titan, or the bigger Titan ones.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. It's basically pricing for me. See how much he is whenever I have the ability to snatch him up.
Yeah, I think that's wise. I mean, if as usual, if people want to go out and get it first time or as soon as it comes out, yeah, cool. I couldn't justify it myself, and it sounds like you're kind of in the same boat as well.
Yeah, and as much as I wish I'd gotten like Combiner Wars Devastator and things like that,
Same.
I just I just didn't really go for it at the time, and I don't remember seeing him for any super low prices either. So that's kind of where I am with it.
No, and I got really annoyed because I wanted, like, everyone was like, don't worry about getting the Unite Warriors one. It only makes the individual robots better. And I was like, yeah, but I like the individual robots. I want to have them as Constructicons as well, because I like the Constructicons. I don't want to just have it as a good Devastator. I want, like, good little individual robots with bendable arms and whatnot. And, and there's Unite Warriors is not cheap either.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who, when they went in for it, they got the Unite Warriors to have the individual bots, and then they just kept their Combiner Wars Devastator combined in combine mode. So it seemed to work for some people.
Yeah, definitely. We're still in that area where I'd like them to do a I mean, we just talked about they're probably never going to do it, but a redo of him into G2 colors, because everyone likes. Well, I'd say everybody. I don't hear anybody saying no, please, we don't like Yellow Devastator. I think most people like it.
Oh, people would love it. But yeah, for some reason, even, I mean, they did a San Diego re-release of him, but it was just with like chromed purple, I think it was.
Yeah, and it was really lame. At least
compared to what we would have got with G2, yeah, it was pretty lame indeed.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that figure would have done a lot better that release would have done better if it was yellow, because it would have been different, and even like you would have had people complaining, this should have been just a normal release, not an exclusive, but
yeah,
it's not the point. It would have actually sold rather than, it's got a chromy chest. Okay, new box. Yeah. So that was all the new stuff apart from the Starscream, which again we'll talk about in a bit. That was really shown. I didn't watch it. Did you watch the presentation or the video, if there was a video?
No, actually, apparently this year they actually successfully streamed it, whereas last year they were supposed to,
wow.
and if you went to the site, there was nothing. I was at work. I didn't get to watch it. So I basically just read the stories and saw the pictures, and hey, look, surprise, Scorponok. That's pretty much the only option they had. So woo.
Yeah. Oh, they showed off the 35th anniversary Voyager, Megatron, and Prime. What do you think of those? Do you prefer those over the? I mean, you've got the normal ones. Do you think these are better? Would you have preferred to have gotten these ones than the versions that you have?
Not only would I have preferred, Andy, I am getting these versions as well.
Oh, damn!
Yeah, I'm actually double dipping on these because we just talked about the pulp culture statues with cell shading, and I really like that look. So I'm gonna grab these two as well, just to kind of have them for that aesthetic. And then I don't know, we'll see. Because also coming up, obviously, we have another Optimus Prime coming out that I'm actually pretty excited to get too. So one of the Optimus Primes might end up getting handed down to my son sooner than later. And who knows if we'll get another Megatron, what they'll do with that. But no, as soon as I saw the cell shading on these, I was really excited to pick them up. I have them both on order, and I think they ship out in like the next month or so, something like that. But yeah, I'm excited to get them. I like that they're doing this cell shade aesthetic, and how the Prime, at least, is much more accurate to his G1 colors with like the white thighs and all that too. So yeah, I do like that a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a nice upgrade. But on to new things. We actually have what I think is maybe the most surprising thing of the convention. Potentially the first decent Cyberverse toys.
Fingers
Potentially.
crossed. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed on that.
Yeah, we were shown a new wave of Cyberverse stuff. It doesn't say it's anything special. It just says it's a Build-A-Figure wave. And that's because we have the first release ever of McAdam, as he will be a Build-A-Figure that you can get through, I assume, these 4 figures, which is an Optimus Prime, a Megatron, a Shockwave, and a Bumblebee, who have had figures, Warrior class figures as well, if I remember. Optimus comes with the Matrix Mega Shot attack, which is basically his boobs open up and he shoots knowledge through the Matrix to kill people, because that's how the movie worked, I guess.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. Megatron comes with, basically it's an effect piece that goes on the end of his fusion cannon. Fine, that makes sense.
Yeah.
The Optimus Prime one doesn't. I think his is the only one that doesn't make sense. Shockwave has the Shock Blast attack, which is, again, it's a blast for his gun. Not his gun hand, but his gun. So he can dual gun, I suppose. And Bumblebee comes with the Stinger Shot attack, which is, these little things on a stinger, reminiscent of animated. He also has a gun as well. Voyager deluxe looking figures with proper articulation, it seems, not hampered by any gimmicks, it seems, and it looks like they all have coherent, I don't want to say fun, because I can't tell from just looking at pictures, potentially fun transformations, and more accurate to how they look in the show, especially Bumblebee. Bumblebee actually looks like he should do in the show. So, and of course, McAdam, who we've seen pieces, because he's a Build-A-Figure, and he doesn't transform, so don't expect that from him, but that's fine. So, Jason, do you have any Cyberverse figures? If you don't, do these tempt you? And if they do, I mean, just your general thoughts on these. And McAdam, of course.
I have Shockwave.
Okay.
Warrior Shockwave, which I think
Most people got him. Most people
Yeah.
got him because he was arguably the only one that looked good, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, plus he basically turns into, like, Spider Crab. Hey, call it Linda Blair and the Exorcist crab walking Shockwave, which is always fun. So that's a good toy. I know that people also like the Ultra Class version of him that came out. I don't like the fact that he's not, because they have to do something with this transformation where they hide a separate arm for him in his torso. I don't like how he's kind of asymmetrical with it sticking out on one side. So I never opted for the bigger version of him, but I do like I think he's the only one I got. I had wanted to get Soundwave, but I saw him in hand. I was like, no, I have RID Soundwave. That's good enough.
Potentially, you don't need to worry about that now. Potentially, there'll be a decent Soundwave figure coming in this line, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm kind of happy I held back. And first of all, like, instead of calling him Warrior Class, they're calling him Deluxe Class now. So I think they're going to put a little more money into these.
Do you think that's deliberate? Do you think that is that is a legit thing? It's their deluxes because we actually have money to put into them versus Warriors, which are nearly the same price point that we're putting into research with deluxes, but not quite.
And it's kind of fascinating because I wonder if, for as much as people weren't too hot with the the 11-minute running time of the episodes and stuff like that, which never bothered me as someone with a small child who enjoys things like Teen Titans Go. I'm 100% familiar with the 11-minute episodes, and actually it makes it go faster sometimes, which works well. As far as Cyberverse itself, I never got past like the first third of the first season, just because that Bumblebee story was so dragging on, and I'm so tired of Bumblebee not talking, which I know is not a problem anymore, I don't think.
No, it's not. Just jump to season 2. I don't I said with Mike, it seems to have no effect on the story, so just go to season 2.
Yeah, I'd wanted to. I was going to try to do that before I record tonight, so I'd have thoughts, but I didn't get a chance to it. Maybe I'll have another chance to talk about it someday. Yeah. And then the episode, and I remember I finally got fed up with it, like pretty much right after McAdam showed up. That episode where like Soundwave plays music and everyone starts dancing. It was like, oh, it's like the best episode ever. I'm like, no, it was dumb. Just stupid show. Go away.
I felt that as well.
Yeah, I know. But I would like to pick up with season 2 just because it really seems like it's finding its footing. And considering they seem to be putting more money into the toys, I think it's far more successful than we ever thought it was going to be.
I hope that's the case. I always hope that Transformers is doing well, even if I don't like it. And if it funds better toys of designs I'm kind of into.
Oh, yeah. Like I don't I might get all of these. I might even double dip on Shockwave because I like his more updated looks on this one, even though he is quite similar to what we have.
At least you're not triple dipping though, so that's a
Right.
bonus.
Yeah, exactly. Like I will be with the some of the figures, of course, but to be fair, I mean, obviously they would have started designing these toys, I think, after the series would have come out, so maybe the
Probably,
success
yeah.
wasn't a big factor. But if their goal was to do like the first series of them and put them out, and Starscream doesn't have knees and stupid stuff like that,
Mhm.
and then build upon them, I'm okay with that because it looks like we're getting really nice toys out of it to start with. So I'd say there's a good chance I'll pick up that Prime too because I like the way that Prime looks. So yeah, I'm happy with what they're doing. I'm happy that it looks like they're putting a little more money into it. Would I get them all to build McAdam? I don't know. I only saw him in the one episode before I stopped watching. So we'll see. If he comes back in the second season, maybe I'll be more inclined to maybe build him up. And of course, I watched the most recent Damn It Open from Thu over the weekend. And everyone keeps telling him how McAdam looks like him. And he's not wrong. There's some Thu in there. So
There is, yeah,
maybe
definitely.
I'll get him to be my own personal Thu.
That sounds creepy, man.
Look,
You could just have him on your desk and stroke him and be like, "We're friends,"
he's
Friends
on
forever.
he's on my computer screen, Andy. That means he's mine.
Well, I mean, that's true. That's how it
Yeah.
works. That's how I interviewed him, at least. So
Which was a great interview, by the way.
Oh,
That's why I
thank
started
you.
watching Thu. I had no idea who he was until the interview. I was like, oh, I like this guy.
see, before Moonbase 2, I did the interview. Thu, no one knew who Thu was. We
There
made
you go.
Thu when we can break him.
The show that made Thu.
Exactly. That's
And
how
then
it is.
underneath it just say, way.
Wee. I like these figures. I think they're good. I think it's a very safe wave to go for. Like,
Oh, yeah.
this is the wave for kids because you've got Optimus Prime, who kids like. You got Megatron, who's the leader to fight. You got Shockwave, who's a pretty safe design to go for again because people generally like Shockwave's design, good colors, and Bumblebee because again, face of the series. So it's a very safe, like, here's our group of toys. We'll see how they do potentially.
Yeah.
It's, for me, it's not the best like spread of characters, but I think they've all turned out well. And I kind of tempted, like Megatron, I would definitely get because I think it looks like a really good, solid Megatron. I like the design. He is quite good in the show for what he is. For the
And
most part.
he has the most amazing shit-eating grin on his toy, too.
He does, yeah.
great.
That's something sometimes the toys don't do very well. Sometimes they don't do expressions very well. Sometimes they have no expression,
Right.
which is always a bit sad. So yeah, I didn't even notice that, but you make a fair point. Megatron has a good expression going on. He maybe doesn't have the best feet. Like the
No.
feet on the figure just a kind of flat and just kind of stop. But hey, deluxe size versus all of the other Megatrons that have came out from this line, I'm all on board. I didn't get Shockwave. I was tempted to get him. I'm glad I didn't. Now I can get this one instead.
Yeah,
So
get this
that's,
one, yeah.
again, a plus. Yeah. The fact that we've got a Build-A-Figure, I don't know who you do after this, because yeah, McAdam was a background character who clearly had no Transformer mode, because we didn't see it either. After him, do we keep going? If we do, who do we do after McAdam? I don't know.
Here's who I've heard speculated.
Oh, okay.
Andy, who's been introduced this season but has never transformed?
I've watched 3 episodes, so I don't know. Cheeto?
Well, no, Rack and Ruin.
See? Oh, Rack and Ruin. Oh, actually, yeah, that's a very
Yeah.
good point. Rack and Ruin would be a good choice. He's never been done, like McAdam.
Yeah.
He clearly can't transform because what the fuck do you do for that guy? Jesus. So yeah, he's probably a safe bet actually. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and again, not my idea. I've heard that from other people, but I think that's probably the direction they would end up going.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I could be down for that. It's an interesting idea because Transformers has always been in that. I think Hasbro has probably wanted to do Build-A-Figures for Transformers before because I mean they do it for all the Marvel stuff and they've been doing it for Marvel for years.
Right.
And I think this is a good smart way of doing it without going let's kneecap a character. Like like not just getting RC and going, well, no transformation for you. You're just going to be the standalone girl or something. So doing a minor character, but someone that the fans would like as well. Great.
Yeah.
I hope this line continues. I hope it doesn't just die. I hope it doesn't just... Because I say die because my concern is we know that we've got the beast armor stuff, whatever that line was called again. Do you know the ones I'm talking about? Like Cheetor with the boat, and Bumblebee with the Megatron that came with a helicopter that sits on the
Spark
shoulders.
armor. Spark
Those
armor.
the ones. Yeah, and those are clearly going off what the show's doing for cartoon series.
Yeah.
But nothing was shown here, so I hope it's not just like, and we're done with that, and we're doing the next gimmick, which is a Build-A-Figure, and we're done with that Build-A-Figure, and now we're doing another gimmick with the next toy line.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'd like to, I'd like to see a Soundwave get done. I'd like to see a Hailstorm get done. Or Slipstream, sorry, get done. RC would be great to see done. I'm not too fussed on Grimlock, mainly because I don't like his normal mouth. That's a bit weird. But there's definitely designs I'd like to see get a toy of a decent quality from this line. So hopefully, I guess we'll see in the future. Maybe Voyagers? I don't know. Maybe they won't do Voyagers. That's also maybe a concern because not concern, but something to think of. If this does well, and maybe they go, oh hey, maybe we do a Voyager. You know, you're gonna choose Megatron and Optimus, and then you've got even more Megatrons and Optimuses. Optimize, whatever. Something to think about. The last big oomph was the showing of the next War for Cybertron Part 2, which is Earthrise.
Electric Boogaloo.
Nothing to do with Cybertron. Okie dokie.
Well, no, they're on their way to Earth now, Andy.
Are they not on Earth? Because I've already got the modes.
As John Warden described it, the diorama that was showed off at NYCC was basically the Transformers emerging from the Ark with their new alt mode. So yeah, it's supposed to cover the space travel to Earth and then the waking up 4 million years later.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't spend long on Cybertron, and I think we can, at least most of us can admit, the Cybertron designs were very half-assed, at least in my opinion.
Yeah.
They were so incredibly half-assed that by part 2 they just went Earth modes, and it's like, you should have lent heavier, in my opinion, lent a lot more heavier into the Cybertron aspect for the first wave, especially since we're revisiting characters already. Did me and Mikey talk about the Optimus last week?
I don't know.
Probably
if he
not. He must have been. No, I think he was revealed here. So what was revealed? A few things that no one talks about, and then lots of other things that loads of people talk about. So the things that weren't talked about were the Micromaster sets, or the Micromaster teams, because we got Big Daddy, not Daddy. He was the Big Daddy, as far as I remember. No, he's sorry, he's not even called Daddy. He's called Daddy-O.
Yep, Daddy-O.
Oh no, that sounds like a pimp name.
It kind of does.
No. And Trip Up. These were from the what were they called? Oh, it probably has the title here. The Hot Rod Patrol. They were two of the team members from back in the day. We've also got the Military Patrol, who were the best. I'm gonna fight anyone who disagrees. The best Micromaster team set from back in the day. And we've got Bomb Shock and Decepticon Growl, who were the tank and the buggy jeep thing. Maybe not the best selection there, but okay. So we'll start off with Micromasters. How do you think these are? Because I was at first all on board with Micromasters. Then I saw them, and I saw how much they were, and I was put off by the Micromasters.
Yeah, I learned my lesson with the Prime Masters from Power of the Primes, and also the Titan Masters from Titan Returns, because I did the best I could to grab all of them. Because, for $5, it's a small toy, fine, no big deal. And then I got them all, and I look at them and I go, what's the point, Jason? What do you do now? They sit here. They do nothing. So
yeah, well, to be fair, for the Pretenders, they do as... no, the original Pretenders technically did more, because the shells did open up, and they did have an individual Transformer inside that did transform. Arguably.
I mean, to be fair, I think all my Prime Masters are in their Pretender shells and as weapons for my combiners. Yeah. So they're getting some use, but like I went through all the effort to make sure when every wave came out to try to find them, and it wasn't worth it. You know, they're small toys and stuff, and that's fine. But it ultimately, I'm kind of over that. So now, to be fair, I think I'm a little, just a couple years too old to have really been in on the MicroMaster craze, or too young.
Okay.
I'm not sure which way that works. But there's a lot of people who are Transformers fans right now who really love MicroMaster stuff, and good, you know, that's great that they're getting to revisit it like this.
Yeah. It's just not for you, I'm guessing.
Now, although I do like the base, but again, do I really want to spend $20 on the deluxe for a base that I'm probably not really going to have anything to interact with? Probably not.
Yeah, here's the thing as well. We have the it's not Battle Master. What's his name? There's a Battle Master Sound Barrier. Who's Sound Barrier?
He's the
he's the shield.
Well, shield / piece of bridge.
Yeah, we need to talk about him as well. Yes, the thing that Jason mentioned was one of the deluxe figures called Ironworks, based off of the Ironworks factory from the MicroMaster line. It's the same idea as Six Gun and Brunt and those things, but instead of turning into a shoddy, I'm sorry to say, a shoddy vehicle and a wobbly robot mode, he will turn into a wobbly robot mode and a base, an amalgamation of a base, as much of an amalgamation of a base as the original MicroMaster bases were. But the difference here is he will split into pieces to form the base, rather than what the MicroMaster bases did, which was unfold out. So I'm hoping, because I didn't like those figures. I didn't like Brunt and I didn't like the other ones because they always felt really wobbly in those modes, in the vehicle modes, because it was just you kind of haphazardly slapping bits together and going, it's kind of a thing and things are sort of connecting kind of okay. I'm hoping that when you make them into the bases here, it's a bit more of a firmer connection, more solid and whatnot, because he can turn into a basic flat shape, Cybertronian kind of like ground, or he actually has a base mode with a shovel and some other stuff. So what do you think of Ironworks? Again, like you say, MicroMasters were before or after your time. I think after your time.
Probably,
but I'm not sure. But how do you think Ironworks has turned out?
Well, I'm basically just going to go off of what people who, are really into him, or really into the MicroMaster stuff are saying, which is that he looks great. And I don't argue that. As far as weaponizers go in general for this line, I have Brunt, and the only reason I got Brunt is because I have Trypticon. And it seemed kind of silly to not get Brunt when I had Trypticon. I got him with I had like a $5 coupon when I got him too. So I got him for $5 less than, which is good, because when I transform him, even though he's a weaponizer and comes apart, there's still a part of the transformation you have to do with where you have to fold his arm in, and the mushroom peg from his upper arm to the shoulder pops out every time.
Yeah.
It's annoying. And that mushroom peg, it's not coming out from the side either. It's coming out from the bottom, which is eventually going to snap that mushroom peg right off, which I'm not happy about. So I'm not highest on weaponizers, even though, and the people who, and I think that like Six Gun and Cog are actually really good. I know a lot of people who have several of each one. So I think Brunt might be the weakest one. But again, I had Trypticon, so I wasn't going to pass them up. But no, for the people who this works for, I think this is going to be a really, this is the kind of stuff that I think Hasbro is going to see, that, when we do something a little different with something that we've had before, I think they're going to start seeing some real success doing that kind of thing.
And that's something I do like about it. It is different. It's using an engineering idea, which I'm not a big fan of, mainly because, like you say, or like I've said as well, it's not solid, and you're clearly having QC issues with Brunt. And I think when I was playing with my friend Wayne's, I think the same mushroom peg had an issue. Mainly because the mushroom peg wasn't covered by anything, and there was no reason it couldn't have been covered by some bit of plastic so it was locked into place.
Yeah,
because that would probably stop it from, obviously it would stop it from sliding out. But I like the fact that it's not somebody who just happens to be Ironworks. It's not like, it's Bumblebee who turns into an Ironworks factory. It's a new character.
That would have been 5 years ago. They would have done that easily.
Probably, yeah. There is one thing I think missing from the design, and that's hazard stripes.
Yeah.
I think that would have been nice. It's not like a killer where it's like, fuck this toy. But a few hazard lines and a hazard stripes, probably done by repro labels,
Mhm.
If not, you should do them repro labels because this is
They will.
screaming for hazard lines.
They
Hazard tape.
will. I
Yeah, they must be.
guarantee they'll do it.
But it's a good idea. I'm interested to see how many of these they do because there's four, I think, of these bases. So you've got at least 4 deluxes you could work from there. So
Yeah.
it's a nice idea. It's interesting. Having a battle master turn into a bit of bridge, a bit of connecting road, because they have the same kind. They have a similar idea the Micromaster bases did, which was a bit of road that connects to future bases that aren't available yet, or they just form a ramp. Having a battle master that just is a bit of road is lame. I don't know how else to phrase it. It's fucking lame. Right?
Yeah.
That's not just me being a dick, right? That's like, who wants to buy a bit of road?
Well, at least he also can be used as a shield, so he's got that going for him. The
It's
only
not
other
a cool shield, though, is it? It's just
Well,
again,
no.
it's just a bit of road.
Now, we haven't gotten to him yet, but Grapple actually is going to have, you can adjust his crane to have a claw that will actually attach to him. So
Attached
it almost,
to what? Attached to the road thing.
to, I forgot his name already.
Ironworks or the
to
Battle
sound,
Master?
to Sound Barrier,
Oh,
the Battle
okay.
Master. So he'll actually be able to pick it up, and you can actually make it look like he's placing him, as part of the road or onto a Titan or something like that. So it's a nice bit of the play pattern.
Is that
But yeah.
not just like fucking mafia tactics of like building people into the foundations?
When Optimus Prime tells you to do something, you
Right.
fucking do it, Andy.
You don't mess with Optimus Prime or he gives you some goddamn concrete boots.
He,
Sink to the
He-
bottom of the sea of rust.
I mean, we don't call him Murder Prime for nothing, okay?
how many minicons are built into Triptychon now? We don't talk about that no more. Not after the Iacon incident.
Prime, where are the
Jesus.
mini bots, Prime? They crossed me.
Nobody crosses me. I gave them the kiss, and then they knew what was going to happen.
Not the
Why-
kiss. No.
Why did you do this to me? Just a kiss on the cheeks. That's the symbol. That's how Prime gets you.
Yep, that's
Yes,
all it takes.
You did mention that we do have some other deluxes. So deluxe-wise, we have Hoist, Wheeljack, Cliff Jumper, and as mentioned before, Ironworks. You mentioned Young Grapple, who is totally not going to be done into Inferno by the
Oh,
next
no.
wave.
No, not at all.
No, of course not. Probably the first time we've had a grapple in a long time.
So, I mean,
I
aside from
can't remember the
Masterpiece,
last time.
yeah.
Yeah. Because the Inferno toy for Universe, that did get a grapple redo, didn't it? But it was only a basic bit repaint. It didn't have like much of any extra molding to it, I don't think.
Yeah, because he kind of falls into because I've heard a lot of griping of while these toys look good, there is a version of Grapple, being the one you just mentioned, that is pretty good. That's come out in the last 5 or 6 years, however long ago that was. I mean,
Yeah.
I think 5 or 6 years it's okay to redo, especially. I mean, this guy, he looks like he literally came out of the cartoon more or less.
Yeah, this is actually grapple rather than a weird not grapple who they
Right.
just kind of repainted. This has the feel of grapple. It's got the look of grapple. That's
Mhm.
fine, no issue.
Yeah.
I think the choice is pretty boring. From my perspective, he's not a very interesting character visually or anything else. But we haven't had him, so that's fine. I might find
Yeah.
it not very appealing, but yeah, that's totally okay. It's kind of the same for all of the other deluxes revealed as well. Like Wheeljack kind of needed it because his last version was the Trax toy from Universe, and that was also kind of So a new Wheeljack toy necessary? Probably, yeah. It's again a bit on the I kind of shrug my shoulders side, but okay, that's fine. And it's kind of the same for Hoist. It's good that he's got a figure coming out eventually, though his gun for his gun hand looks really big, really, really, really big.
Yeah.
And they is it just Grapple or is it Wheeljack as well? Is Wheeljack doing it? No, all of the deluxes are doing something I don't like with the hip joints. They're doing this. You move the entire hip joint. It looks like they've gone for a faux skirt look, but it's not a skirt. I just don't like how the hip joint looks when you move it. Kind of breaks up the look of the toy for me. It's not a big deal. It's just a minor gripe. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. I can totally see that criticism.
Oh, and they're all mushroom pigs as well. That's why I'm guessing they look like that. So hopefully they have something to cover the bottom so they don't slide out of position, because that would be lame if the legs just kind of slide out as you're moving them up and down. What do you think, though, Jason, of these deluxes, which seem to, like, Hoist has a bit of the paint going on, the weathering effect. I don't think Wheeljack does. Like, I can't see any on Wheeljack, and I don't see any on Grapple either, oddly enough.
Yeah. So I mentioned this on last week's RFC because I have been a very outspoken opponent of the battle damage. I don't think it's well done. And boy, it sure seems, unless these renders are completely wrong from what the toy will look like, it looks like they're really backing off of that. And yes, Grapple
no, Grapple. It is Grapple.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Wait, no. Hoist is the green one.
Why are their names so similar? Although, okay, Grapple and Hoist. But yes, Hoist does have some, but is not nearly as bad as what we've seen recently. And it looks like, I'm assuming that's probably green plastic, so it wouldn't be too hard to take off, I would imagine. So I'm okay with that. That's fine. I like all these. Again, we've already talked about Iron Will a little bit. Not super high on the list for me, but Wheeljack, I'm all. And we actually, don't forget, we did get Wheeljack and Combiner Wars.
No, we didn't.
No,
No,
okay.
didn't.
We got Wheeljack and Combiner Wars with repro labels.
No, we didn't.
Because that made that toy much better. I will tell you that right now.
It was still like, here, it's Wheeljack, and I'm just sitting there going, no, it's not. And it's like, it's Wheeljack. I don't think it is. I think you just hastily made a new head for this toy and slapped it on.
I like that
weird combiner. Yeah,
I like that Wheeljack so much that I have him as a arm on a combiner that's on the back of my shelf. That's how much I like that Wheeljack. He's wonderful. Yeah, this Wheeljack looks great. I am all about this Wheeljack. Cliff Jumper, I don't know if I'll get him or wait for the eventual Bumblebee, because let's face it, there's definitely a Bumblebee coming from this one.
Do you think they'll do Bumblebee from this? Because I don't. I sure they could. I don't know if they'd make Bumblebee his own thing, though. I mean, they might not.
I mean, they could do Camaro Bumblebee out of this.
Because I say that mainly because Cliff Jump here looks more squared off than little happy fat round Bumblebee that I imagine they'd be wanting to aim for, because that seems to be what this line is. This is super duper heavy G1 cartoon G1.
Yeah, I mean, you have a good point, but I think they could probably retool it fairly enough to get it
that's fair. Yeah, maybe they could.
I mean, they've done some pretty impressive retools, and we're about to talk about one coming up. Assuming, I don't know, that might not even be the case. He might not be a retool, but there's a lot different there between what we're going to be talking about here. But yeah, so I might. Well, he'll be a see him in hand and see what I think.
Sure.
But yeah, and Hoist, I don't know. Hoist has never really done much for me.
Do you mean Grapple?
No, Hoist.
Hoist, the green one.
The green one, yes. I got it right this time.
Okay.
So, but again, I might see him in the store and that green might really pop and be like, yeah, sure, I'll grab a Hoist. Why not? I think the most important thing for me is, while I can count on one hand how many Siege toys I've bought. Long as you're not counting my, getting Prime twice and stuff like that. Sure. Prime, Megatron, Ironhide. Oh, geez. That might actually. Oh, okay. And I did get Shockwave recently.
4.
So
that's
4.
That's not a huge amount.
No, and I can already point to 4 that I want already. So that's actually more than 4. No, I don't know, maybe more than 4. So things are looking up for this line so far. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, also on the list, since we've done the deluxes, which I'm not too fussed with, we have the Voyager Starscream, and we have Voyager. Grapple's Voyager apparently. Huh. I misread that. So Grapple, the fire engine, the truck thing is a Voyager, and Starscream is also going to be a Voyager, and we've got an Optimus Prime as well. So Starscream, who is aggressively the 2006 toy, aggressively.
And John Warden did kind of not cop to it, but in an interview he was asked, this definitely has shades of the classics. He's like, yeah, I mean,
more than shades.
Well, he basically said it's a good toy. He's like, and this toy here is probably better. Well, he did say that he thinks this version is better than the Masterpiece, which I don't think anyone's gonna argue with him on that one.
Yeah. Jesus, how old's that Masterpiece though? Let's be fair.
Oh, geez. I mean, I got it for $60 like 4 years ago. So
Yeah, that toy's old.
yeah,
Like,
and
that mold's old. That was the third Masterpiece toy, and they never updated it. The best that they did was slightly retweak it. So to say this is better than that, I don't think so. From my opinion, it's not a massive leap. It's a Voyager, so it's upscaled, but the transformation pattern seems to be almost identical. Maybe they've tweaked it here and there.
probably.
But it has a lot of elements of the original, where you have the underneath of the plane and you have the massive hole in the chest. Like, he's always going to have undercarriage. I'm not expecting them to get rid of that, but I would have expected from 2006 to 2019, it's more than 10 years, that the transformation might have evolved a bit more than just doing the same transformation effectively. I'm really disappointed with this, mainly because I have a horrific fear that, I mean, I have a knowledge that we're going to get Skywarp and Thundercracker from this, but my horrific fear is we're then going to get the Coneheads, then we're going to get Red Wing, then we're going to get Acid Storm and the other three that go with him, then we're going to get the other exclusives, and he's never going to die like that 06 one. And
I mean,
I don't want to live in that world again.
I don't know if it's a fear so much as probably a guarantee.
It's still fearful.
We're getting
Stop.
we are getting the Coneheads. I don't think there's any question that will happen out of this. And considering I didn't touch the Siege version because A, battle damage, and B, I didn't think the Tetrajet looked all that great.
No, apparently wasn't.
I am excited about this one though. I am. I actually, and as someone who I never had the classics version, so if it's that again, cool.
What? How did you never have that mold? It was released so many times.
Well,
there's like 3 or 4 Starscreams of that mold.
I mean, I didn't collect Transformers for a long time. Combiner Wars Optimus Prime was the first one I bought in years back when I got that one.
You didn't just find the mold just lying on the street somewhere. That's how many there were. They were probably growing on trees.
Surprisingly enough, I did not find one of those at a yard sale. Shockingly enough.
Jesus, I am surprised that one just never happened to fall into your lap.
No.
That's not, just walking around a convention. You didn't go, oh, there's one.
Apparently they're not like tribbles. It's amazing.
I think you just are like the anti 06 mold, and you just scared them away somehow.
I mean, I am a very scary person. Yes.
It does look improved. Don't get me wrong, from that 06 version, but I'm really not happy that it's effectively the same toy again.
Yeah,
but for you who's never had it, I mean, that's definitely not an issue for you.
Yeah, no, he's on pre-order. I will be getting them, and I get that. I totally understand that. So I don't begrudge you for your opinion. And Grapple, my only problem with Grapple is that I bought the Power of the Primes Inferno based off the Hotspot mold, and now that one looks like hot shit compared to what will eventually come with this Grapple mold. So wasted $20 on that one, or $25 on that one. Woohoo!
$25 isn't too bad for a Voyager, I suppose. But I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I guess you could say he's his construction friend because he's more hefty. He could be the guy that does more of the lifting while Grapple does more of the planning, I guess.
Hey, there's ways to work the headcanon to not make me want to cry. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people saying that this line has kind of gone for the Masterpiece aesthetic, and it's like, I yes and no. It's just they're leaning heavily on the G1 cartoon, and that makes a lot of sense because it's easy money.
The person I've heard most say it relies on Masterpiece is John Warden himself. So it's definitely a thing they were going for.
Yes, because the last one is the leader, Optimus Prime, who's actually a Voyager in scale, which again is something that I know Mikey is not a fan of, because you're going to be paying leader prices for Optimus Prime, who's a Voyager, and his trailer, which does, again, what you would expect from an Optimus Prime trailer. $450.
Oh, what a great review that was.
Yeah, for me, if I was going to do a review on this, I'd be saying $60. $60. Like the Optimus Prime itself looks perfectly fine. It looks serviceable. But it's a trailer that does nothing. It's the same issue I've had recently now with looking at Astro Train, because Astro Train,
Yeah.
who I hear he's getting pushed into this line now, which is a good idea because Cybertron. Come on now. His accessory just kind of turns into small little booties and a place to hold more guns, which is like, it's fine, but you're asking a lot more money for not a huge improvement of a figure, at least in my eyes. So I think that's an issue which I'm, again, really not happy with how this line's proceeding. Shockwave, that's fine. Ultra Magnus, that's fine, and Galaxy Force Prime, again, that's fine, but that was Ultra Magnus. But you've got a Voyager-sized figure, but you got big stupid armor to plop on them that does a lot of stuff. That's fine. That has much more play value and sense, and even for a kid, like if you say to them, do you want this Optimus Prime that just has a trailer and it doesn't really do anything, or do you want like this Shockwave or this Ultra Magnus that has like, you have this little robot, but then you can like into a big robot mode. That has a lot more play value to it, at least from my perspective. So I don't know. It's I get why they do an Optimus Prime as well, because we've again, something I saw me and Mikey both had Twitter talks was, Starscream is not that old. The War for Cybertron Starscream is not that old. Neither is the Optimus Prime, and the Optimus Prime has that 35th anniversary one coming out really soon. This probably isn't too far behind. So that's 3 Optimus Primes relatively close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue that you probably safe bet, like you say, Bumblebee, probably safe bet Megatron. Safe bet might be Soundwave, so it's again revisiting safe characters who we've just had. I don't know. It's not something that I'm a big fan of. You sound a lot more positive on this than I am, Jason, which is great.
Yeah.
Would you say that's the case with Optimus as well?
Yeah, and again, no battle damage, so I'm automatically
that
happy
is
about
true.
that.
Yeah.
There has been, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Prime's a little taller than a deluxe. Maybe they upscale it a tiny
Voyager,
bit.
you mean?
Or Voyager. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that would be nice if they do. If not, I mean, the trailer is there, but sure. At least it's $50, or it would be $50 for me. At least it's $50 with a trailer, unlike the re-release, which was obviously $50 of that one.
That is a fair point.
Yeah, and how much of this is a new? It looks like a lot of it's a new mold, because I think
this is all new, I'm sure.
Well, from the knee down, that's pretty much Siege Optimus, because because I actually have him, and the legs. The only difference is there's no cover on the 2 wheels on the outside. Right. And then at least on I don't know what the final will look like, because in the renders it's blue, but the inside of the legs were gray on the prototypes they had on the diorama. So that might turn up blue. So from the knees down, that is Siege Prime. Like there's no difference whatsoever other than the cover for the tires. But from the knees up, because he's got the matrix inside of his chest, the head transformation is different, because the head went forward into the truck cab. So this time it'll probably go backwards. He does still have a backpack, but it looks like it's turned around. Whereas on the Siege backpack, the bottom, or the bumper for the front of the truck, is on top, whereas you can just barely see it poking through the bottom from behind him in the render there. So that's reversed. So I'm really interested to see what the engineering differences are on him. And this is a good representation of a G1 Optimus Prime. Again, it's obviously, it wouldn't, as much as the current masterpiece is a little maligned, this isn't going to hold a candle to it as far as like engineering and stuff like that, but from an aesthetic point, I mean, they're getting pretty close to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah.
So I mean, and who knows? We only have one Decepticon right now in the form of Starscream, so maybe we'll get a leader, bad guy to go along with Prime, and we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. I mean, Toy Fair is still a little whiles off, but I'm sure there's probably some big yet kind of obscure Comic-Con or convention coming up that we don't know much about, or maybe, who knows, there might be one in Japan that's coming up in a couple weeks that they'll just show all kinds of shit and we'll be like, oh, look at that.
Or they might
'cause that
just
seems to happen all the time.
release the info, because sometimes they do that as well. Sometimes they just go, oh yeah, we've got some reveals to show you, or a leak will happen.
Oh yeah, because
sometimes that goes down.
you want to make sure you give your Transformers news to noted Transformers site like Screen Rant.
It happens.
Yeah, it's what they just did.
Yeah,
So,
I don't know
yeah.
why, but
I don't either. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see maybe a couple more. I don't know because
I think we do need a couple more, because an issue that both me and you talked about on messages was where the Decepticons. We've got Starscream, but then it's just
Yeah.
Autobots.
yeah, pretty much.
And I don't like that precedent. I think it's better to have like at least as close of an even spread as you can of like Autobots and Decepticons, so you have them to fight each other.
Yeah.
That's like in my head, like as a kid, that's what I would want. I'd want to have the good guys and the bad guys so they could fight each other, not just have a wave of good guys and they go, they've got no one to fight apart from Starscream.
Exactly.
He just sits there screaming as everyone kicks him.
Where is everybody? How?
We're in the next wave. See you next year, Starscream. Ironworks, help me.
No.
Oh, I don't know. So I don't know where this line is going, because it's almost like we're just going to kind of retread characters who we've had again fairly recently.
Yeah.
Is it just going to be like season 1 cast of Transformer characters? Because that'll make a lot of people happy, but that's not my jam. I'm more season 3 because I like the weird kooky designs on them. But if John Warden was mentioning masterpieces a lot, that might be an indication that they're going to lean heavily into that season 1, early season 2 kind of lump of characters. Because I know a lot of people are wanting to see. I think I saw people say Wheeljack should be done into Sunstreaker, and that could be okay. Because it's been a while since we've had a Sunstreaker, so okay.
Wait, what about Combiner Wars, Andy?
It didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Oh, I must be misremembering.
You are. You've been drinking again. You've been eating too much of that salt.
This
Like that damn
turpentine
bag of
tastes
salt.
fine. Shut up.
That was all of the Transformers news from New York Comic Con that I can remember,
just
unless
a
there's
little bit.
anything else. Yeah.
I don't think so.
Was there anything else at New York Comic Con that really tickled your pickle, as they say?
Actually, I didn't really see a lot of other stuff from New York Comic Con.
Neither did I, to be honest. I saw there was a trailer for season 3 of Discovery, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
Oh no.
As much as I told you and Mikey that it was much more Star Trek, towards the end it definitely was not more Star Trek. So if you weren't on board for season 1, season 2 might have started to grab you, and then would have just like at the end been like, "See you, asshole," and kicked you out the door. So
I saw Red Letter Media talk about it, and I went, "Oh no, oh
yeah,
no."
they weren't wrong. Trust me.
Oh no, that's a shame. I think was the Picard trailer shown at New York Comic Con as well, or was that before?
No, you're right. That was just released yesterday, I think. So that counts as well.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm still incredibly concerned, I suppose, with what that is, mainly because of how Star Trek is at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we'll see.
Kiva Goldsmith for you. He knows how to run that Star Trek stuff.
He do. He do. I don't think there was anything else, at least New York Comic Con wise for me. And I think you mentioned there wasn't anything there for you. Have you been up to anything this week, Mr. Jason? Because this is how we do the show. Has there been anything interesting you picked up or seen or anything like that?
Well, as far as picking stuff up, I did mention that I got Siege Shockwave. He's one where I've been watching for him to go down in price, and eventually he went down to $30. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And then
down
I had
from 50, did you say?
Yeah, from 50. So that's
that's not bad.
Yeah. And then I also had like a $10 gift card on Amazon. So I was like, oh, well, okay, $20. Perfect. I'll take a leader for that. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing I had that too, because I got him and he is loose. He's got some loose bits. Yeah. I was like, man, if I had paid more than $20, I'd be pretty upset right now, which is not a good thing to say about a leader class.
No.
So I already hit him with some polish and got some of his joints a little tighter, which helps a lot. But that core robot is really nice looking, and it's going to fit in really well with once we get this, new Starscream and stuff like that. So aesthetically, he's pleasing, and I like having all his extra bits in that little satellite thing you can build out of it.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, because then in my mind, Shockwave just walks around with this giant, satellite drone on top of him. Whenever someone pisses him off, he just kind of points at him and they get blown up. So that to me is perfect. So I'm more than happy to have him in that way. But I haven't heard a lot of complaints about the mold, so I think I just have a not great copy of it. But I was able to fix most of it with polish, so that's not too bad.
Was it only joints, or was it like the connection points as well for the super mode?
The connection points.
Was it just them, or was it the actual joints, or was it both? Sorry.
No, and his hips were a little loose too, which
okay.
Dad I couldn't really do much with, but he stands fine. So that's, other than the fact that if you pick him up, he's kind of loose. He still stands, so it's not the biggest deal. But again, putting the satellite thing together, if you turned it sideways, the side bits just slid right out. I'm like, okay, that's not $50 worth of toys, guys. Let's not do that. So, but other than that, for $20, I'm not going to complain too much. Full price. I knew better. See, I knew better. I waited till it was cheaper. And the only other thing I got recently was the Ghostbusters Optimus Prime back when that was available.
The Masterpiece one.
Yeah, I haven't opened it yet. He's still in the box because, I'll probably keep him. But if I see he's going for like super good money on eBay, I might be tempted to not keep him. But
yeah,
for now, I like him enough, and I'll.
Do you think he would become one of those collector's items like that would go up in value? Like how much in value would he need to go up before you'd consider like getting rid of him? Like a third on top, like double the price, or like whereabouts would you land on? Like, okay, but he can go now back into the wild.
If I saw double, it would be pretty tempting to do it, I think.
Right.
I think he is around 200 last time I saw, so that's not quite double, but
okay, that's more than I would suspect, but okay.
Or maybe even, well, he was hard to get. I heard more than one story of someone who tried to get on the site and it sold out before they could, check out their cart.
Is this Hasbro Plus again?
Well, I mean, it's not as bad as it used to be, but there's still some people having issues. I did it on my phone at work when I wasn't even supposed to be on my phone, so I had no problems.
Oh, weird.
But yeah. But other than that, so I have one episode to go in DuckTales, so I haven't seen all the second season yet, but
all right.
So good. That's
not a bad show, is it?
No, it's not at all. The only thing I was ever worried about, and I think I've talked to you about this on like messages, is I was kind of a little weary with how they were handling Della, just because she seemed to be such a bad parent, which granted, she was away from her kids for so long, but like the whole idea. So she has an episode where she's with Dewey, where he almost dies. And then Louie is in a situation where he's in trouble and she's just like, oh no, it'll be fine. Like, you had one of your children just almost die. Don't you think you should be more careful with the other ones now? So it's just weirdly written, but I think they did it so they could have that nice moment between her and Beakley where Beakley's kind of like, see, I told you, here's the lesson you should learn. But I like Della as a character. I think for basically a newish character, I don't know how well she was featured in the older comics or anything like that.
Was she? Was she a
I don't
thing
know.
from the past?
I don't know. That's the thing. If she's created.
Yeah. I wouldn't be like certain that she never existed, but I wouldn't be like positive that she did either. Because it could be just a new character. Who knows?
Yeah. But as a character, I really do like her. I just think it was really weird that you literally had an episode where her and Dewey was in like major trouble. And then a couple weeks later, it's like, oh, Louie is in trouble. He'll be fine, though.
It took the destruction, the near destruction of the time continuity to make it go, okay, maybe it's time to step up.
Yeah, and the only real problem I have to show is the fact that, Della gets back and Donald gets taken off the moon. I hate the trope of two people have been together or apart for so long who should have met up and only didn't meet up because they went opposite directions, and then they get completely reversed. I do not like that trope. I never have. But also, we got that great moment of Donald going berserk on the moon, which was nice. So every time I have a problem with the show, they do something to take it away. But overall, you guys say it all the time. It's one of the best. It's the best show in Western television. It sure as hell is up there for me. I can, there's, Preacher just ended this last week. I really enjoyed watching Preacher. But that's a whole different ball game. But I thought that was really well done too. So there's a lot of good shows out there right now.
That's a crossover you need, DuckTales and Preacher.
That would be fantastic. And the only other thing I'd mention is the last two Jobby reviews have been, Jobby's another one. I didn't really know about him until I heard you guys talking about him. And then Mikey talking about the Shin Godzilla special.
Yeah.
I went in, I watched it, and I was like, wow, this is some crazy avant-garde shit in the form of a toy review, and it's pretty flipping amazing. So I'm big fan of Jobby, and his MP10 review is great because he goes back and forth between how great the toy looks and how terrible the transformation is. And when he pauses, when something happens, and he just pauses on himself, and then he starts to scream but cuts it right away. Just brilliant editing. He's so good at what he does with that. And then his most recent one where it was a Digimon repaint, basically. So he's just
That's right, yeah.
He's like, I've already reviewed this, so this is just going to be a short review of me showing you the new toy. Here you go. So two things that you guys have brought me now, or two toy reviewers, actually, him and Thew, that you've both introduced me to. So
yeah.
Good job on that. How about you, Mike or Andy? What have you been up to
Don't
since
fucking
I last spoke to you?
insult me. Calling me Mikey.
Oh, I thought you didn't hear it. Crap.
No, I've done a few things this week. What have I done? I finished watching Danmachi season 2. It was very much like Danmachi season 1. It's fine. It's okay. It's not something I'd ever recommend, like, oh, you have to go out and watch the show. It's just like, if you don't have anything to watch and you want a fairly simple fantasy anime, yeah, it's better than season 1, but it's still just kind of, I'm not that interested. It's okay. I also watched, because it was the first episode of Fate Grand Order Absolute Demonic Fort Babylonia, which is the new series based off of the mobile game, which is the last arc of the video game. Nonsense, woo-woo. Don't worry about it. The first episode, beautiful. Really well done. It goes by really quickly. They have to cover a lot of stuff. My concern is, because I already know the story and what's going to happen because I've played the game, I don't know how well it transfers over to new person who hasn't seen it to watch it. But I was entertained. It's really well done visually, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses through the story arc. I hope it's going to be like the full 24 run rather than 13. Otherwise, they've got far too much to cover in 13 episodes unless they heavily edit stuff. So I guess we'll see with that. Could go either way, but I'm hoping for the best. What else did I do? Having a look at my list. Oh, I started playing DuckTales, the Capcom game, because I was like,
the remaster.
Why not? Yeah, the remaster.
Nice.
Have you played that before, or the original one of the two? Either.
Oh yeah, well, boy, did I play the original when I was younger? Holy cow! I've played, I think, the first 2 stages of the remaster. I have it downloaded and played it, so I've played a little bit of it.
Yeah, that's about as far as I've got as well. I haven't played a huge amount, but that's the Dark Souls of platformers.
Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it?
If I was a scumbag reviewer who didn't know what I was talking about, that's how I'd say it. It's that old school brutal platformer game. The best way is to go through as much of the level as you can and realize that you're probably going to die and have to replay the entire level again. Mm-hmm. Since at least for the normal mode, you get 3 hits and 2 lives, and that's it.
I believe
and
that's
if you
it.
Die, yeah, and if you die, you go all the way back to the very, very start of the level. Not even the start of the level. You go back to the level select screen, so you have to go through all of it again. It's good though. I really like hearing the original Scrooge McDuck talking. You can tell he's old when he does it, because this was the last thing he did before he passed on, unfortunately. But he still sounds like Scrooge McDuck, just much older. It's nice to hear all of the original voice actors, or at least most of them, as far as I can tell, back doing the original voices. I'm like, oh man, this is really nice, and it looks amazing. It looks so good. It maybe has a few little issues with how the controls kind of pull off. Like sometimes when I press the jump, and I don't know whether it's my controller or whether it's the game itself. Sometimes I press jump or hold the bounce button, and it doesn't do it straight away, and I get hit, and I go, god damn it. Maybe that's something I need to just get around, but no, it's great. You can't buy it now, so
I seem to remember having similar problems. And I don't know that. I mean, the game's been out for a couple of years now. I think I don't know that they've really updated recently, so I don't know if that's ever going to get fixed. But
I do remember. It anymore, so.
Yeah, I do remember a couple times where I was like, "Well, that's not what I fucking tried to do. What the hell?"
Yeah. I don't know why that is. It's just one of those things. Like I say, when I say you can't buy it anymore, I mean you literally can't buy it anymore. It's not available online.
Right. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I think it was probably something to do with the licensing between who was it? It was Capcom, wasn't it? Disney and Capcom's licensing probably ran out, so that's it. If you didn't download it now, it's too late. If you have downloaded it and you haven't played it, good to go.
Certainly
haven't finished it.
Certainly something that's never happened with Transformers games.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Is Devastation? No, Devastation's gone as well, isn't it?
Yep. Well, they're gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't buy War for Cybertron. I'm not really sad I didn't buy War for Cybertron because I was just me. I had Fall of Cybertron, and I'm happy enough with just having that and Devastation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone laments not having the movie games. Actually, maybe someone does. I'm not one of them though.
Nope, not.
Oh, though, let me tell you, Jason, I was so fucking excited for that very first Transformers movie video game. I was so excited for that, and I love that game to a point, even though it's incredibly flawed.
Yeah, is that Rise of the Dark Spark, or was that another one?
No, the very first Transformers movie game.
Oh, right.
The one where you could only blow up half of a building, and then the top half, you couldn't do any damage to it for no reason in particular. I'm guessing because they never coded it. Man, they took some liberties with that. But I always remember there was always a Chips stupid board banner. And I was like, oh, there's a thing that's a reference to Chip. Isn't that silly?
Yeah, well, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, back that's all we had back then. I think that was the first Transformers game. Well, for that generation of consoles, at least, before we got War for Cybertron and things went good and then died and we never got anything else. Even though there should have been an Earth game from High Moon Studios.
Yep.
Instead of just leaving us with that amazing ending to Fall of Cybertron.
Mm-hmm.
I still go back to watching that every now and again because it's so fucking good.
It is really, that the whole game. That game is fun. I remember playing through it. It's a good time. And yeah, the ending, the cutscenes overall, all the cutscenes are really good in that one. And you get to squash Megatron with Metroplex. That was always fun.
Yeah. I think the only iffy thing with that was, do you remember the first sequence where Optimus Prime and Bumblebee are walking through the Ark? Like the walk cycle for Optimus is really weird because he's so big and clunky.
Right.
He looks really awkward, just like walking at a normal speed. It's just a design thing that just didn't transfer over for a 3D model, but it's neither here nor there. Transformers, what a shame that they've gone as well, game-wise.
Yeah, really.
Something I got this week that I know you'll be interested in was I got the Super Mini Pla SSSS Gridman.
Oh my god, give me details.
I built him. He's all built up and stickered up. He has a lot of stickers, but there's no way around that. I mean, you look at the design of the full... what's the full mode called? What's it called?
Full combined, right? Isn't it just
full power Gridman?
Full power, okay.
Full power Gridman. You look at that design and there's no way that you're not getting stickers on that.
No, there's going to be plenty of stickers.
Yeah. It's like the main Gridman figure, the Gridman itself is really good. He is great. He has really good articulation. Again, he has not a massive amount of stickers, but he does have a few just because, again, he has a lot of color separation on him. You know, like he's got red, silver, gray, and blue just on the legs alone.
Right.
They do quite a good job about breaking that up and putting in bits of plastic in the right places and minimizing as much of the stickers as possible. He's very poseable. He's got actually a decent amount of hands. He's got closed fists, karate chopping hands, open angry kind of hands, and then a grip hand for the caliber, the big sword, which isn't great because it doesn't wrap around the hilt. Because the hilt's so big, it kind of goes in with a groove into a slot. So if you've got him holding it and you try and twist the arm, but you accidentally just kind of tap the sword, it will come out. So it's a bit of an issue just because of how big the sword is and how much weight there is behind it. It doesn't take much to kind of knock it out of his hand. So that's an issue.
Like as Mikey might say, it's a big feckin' sword.
It's a big feckin' sword. It really is. I haven't put him into powered Xenon mode, and it just kind of looks eh. The issue with the full powered Gridman is that because of its design, there's a lot of stuff happening, and a lot of bits kind of collide off each other because you know how he's got the big drills on his shoulders.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of room between the shoulders of the actual figure and those drills kind of going in between him and his head, so it makes his head hard to turn. You can't lift the shoulders out. You get like faux arms to kind of connect to the big arms, so you're not using the ones with the joints. I'm assuming just so you don't wear down the joints of the normal hands.
Oh, okay, that's
but
good.
by doing that, they have no articulation to them. They're just solid bits of plastic. So he can't really move his arms out. You can move them forward, but they don't move out at all. Maybe using the other arms, you could get that, but yeah, it comes together well. It doesn't feel as shaky as say like the Genesis Gao have is. It looks good, but I think it's more playable when you don't have him all combined, just because he's so thick with two C's. He's so thick that it just makes him hard to pose with, and I think that's just a problem with the design, and they did the best they could. I don't think there's maybe I'm wrong. I've seen a few of the Gridman toys in the full Gridman power armored thing, and they all look a bit clunky. I don't think there's one where you're like, oh, this is a super dynamic posable one, just because you have to do all this hokey pokey connecting and combining stuff. So they did what they could. I can't tell you what Xenon's like, but I'm overall very happy with it. It was fun to build. It took a while. It took a while to sticker, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and that's the main thing. So there you go.
Nice.
And that's all I've been up to this week, Mr. Jason. And because time is getting on, and I've got to head off real soon,
Sure.
Where can people find you on the internet, Mr. Jason?
Well, I pretty much disappeared from the internet, but
Oh.
you can find. I do have an Instagram still. I don't use it too much, but I find a nice thing about Instagram is you really can't use it unless you have a picture to share. And if you have a picture to share, you can't say stupid shit on the internet. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah, I met Jason S. Kirk on Instagram, and I mean, if you really want to talk to me, I do occasionally reactivate my Facebook just to see if anyone's tried to search for me. As Andy can attest to, I do chat through Facebook Messenger at times, but and I'm just Jason Kirk on Facebook, assuming you can find it. I don't know, but yeah, I'm kind of over Facebook and Twitter and all those. I am occasionally on Radio Free Cybertron on Wednesdays when my work schedule allows. I think I might actually even be on this week, so that would be nice.
Oh, cool.
But yeah,
When
check
will
us out.
that be?
What's that?
When will it be this week? In case people don't know.
Sure. You can actually check out tfradio.net/live on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here in the United States of America, where we actually do a live stream of the recording. And then the podcast usually comes out sometime Thursday, the next day. So yeah, I should be there too. And I'll, other than that, I don't exist much on the internet. So, but it's probably not that bad a thing.
No, it probably means you're happier, potentially.
God, I hope so. I'd hate to see me less happy. My God.
Well, thank you for joining me, Jason. We're not going to be doing questions this week as Mikey's away. It'll be the same next week because Mikey will be away again. So questions will be delayed until the week after next, whenever that is. So the show will probably be coming out the same time next week as well. Because hopefully, if you're okay with Mr. Jason, you'll be joining me next week as well.
If I can make my schedule work, I will be here.
Cool. So yeah, people, you'll be finding us around that time next week. You can find us on the Moonbase 2 forums. We're on Twitter. We're on iTunes. We're on Facebook. We're on Libsyn. I'm Cobra Commander and CCTFW on Twitter and on YouTube. And you can head over to patreon.com/Moonbase2. And you get the extended version of From the Files of Teletran 2, and you get it a week early. The reason the show isn't out yet is because Mikey went away before we could finish recording the extended bit, and he didn't send me the file for the normal one either.
Oops.
Which is recorded. Yeah, I have my side of the normal one, but I don't have Mikey's side. So
send me your side. I'll just fill in extra stuff for you.
Oh God.
That would be feckin' Thor Ragnarok.
That would be really hard to do. I've tried to do that. I've tried to fill in, and it's oh God, you want to die afterwards. I did, at least.
Yeah.
And you get the extended. I've done that, and you also get the Moonbase Woo Woo, where we talk about non-transformery things. And I don't know what it'll be this month, but it'll be something. I just need to figure it out. Maybe something Halloween related.
Ooh,
don't know what
spooky.
I can do though. Yeah, it might not happen. I might figure something else out. Or it might be horror related. I think last year I did Shitty Goosebumps, which was fun.
I love that episode.
shitty Goosebumps. Or was it R.L. Stein's The Haunting Hour? It was a haunting hour, wasn't it? That was it.
Yep.
It was one of the two. That was fucking awful.
Uh-huh.
Good stuff, though. So thank you again, Jason, for joining me, and we will catch you next week, everybody.
Bye, everyone.